Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. The day has flown past very quickly. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us in Breakaway 1 around how to do business in Africa. This next session is going to be presented by Kabir Shagaya. He's going to be talking to us around how to do business in Nigeria. I wanted to remind everyone at the beginning of the session, there's a poll tab to the right. If you can, after the session, please pop in there to give us some feedback on the session in terms of your rating. There's also a discuss button. If you've got any questions throughout the presentation, please pop it in there. I will make some time afterwards to address those questions, and Kabir will give us a bit of feedback. And then what would be great is, as you are logged on now, please pop us a message and tell us where you're listening from. It will give us a good sense of who the audience is that we're chatting to, and give us your questions. So let's get started. Kabir is currently the CEO of Zippy Logistics, a full-service logistics company specializing in providing retail supply chain solutions for fast-moving consumer goods, multinationals, and SMEs in Nigeria. The company is focused on exemplifying consolidation, innovation, and efficiency. Kabir was appointed in 2018 by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council to pioneer the participation of Nigerian business in export and international distribution through his company. He obtained a master's in innovation management and entrepreneurship, was a special advisor to the Lagos state government on climate issues and carbon emissions, and also served as the director of C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group under the Clinton Foundation, where he helped create policies and manage negotiations between the public and private sector and international organizations. It is such a pleasure to have you here, Kabir. We look forward to hearing what you have to say and what we can learn about doing business in Nigeria. Over to you.
Thanks a lot, Marissa. It's a pleasure to be here. I've really been looking forward to this because I know, like, you guys are doing such great stuff in trying to improve inter-Africa trade, and this is a great opportunity for us to hear about how to do business in Nigeria. I've seen there's quite a few panels about how to do business across Africa, and what I thought about today is that instead of going through the boring, regular ways of telling you about NAFDAC and our CACs and our registrations, I thought I'd give you a real insight on exactly what it takes to actually get business done in Nigeria instead. So to start that, I run my businesses with one policy. And my main business rule, which I use whenever I do business in Nigeria, is you're only as rich as whose problems you're solving. And I keep saying that over and over again because that's the one policy that's helped me get through every opportunity I've had in life, which basically means, in a nutshell, like, if you're solving a multinational's problem, you're making multinational money. If you're solving an SME's problem, you're making SME money. So before you start a business, you also need to know what your realistic targets are. And also, that's the first thing. So first you know your customer, then you know the size of the problem to the customer. If it's a need or want or just something that'll be nice for them to have. Based on the level of dependency of based on the critical issues solved with the problem, the client will be more responsive to you. Now, we decided to go into a logistics industry, which we knew was a very big problem in Nigeria at the time, because the lack of a proper supply chain has limited the amount of trade that can go across the country. You hear stories about people like Louis Vuitton buying leather from Kano in the northern parts of Nigeria, but we don't have a proper supply chain network to make this a formalized relationship. So when I realized the gap in the supply chain industry, I realized that, look, if you approach the supply chain industry, it'll be a very good example of how you can actually solve a problem and make a lot of money while you're doing it. One of the other main business lessons that I tend to follow is securing off-takers for your solutions reduces the consumer behavior risk. Now, in Africa, consumer behavior is quite fickle. And sometimes in a lot of parts of the world, actually, not just Africa, but what I tend to find is you can't really dictate what affects market consumer behaviors, because you have some situations where something's more expensive, people want to buy it more. When something's cheaper, people stay away from it. Or when something else is cheaper, they want to buy it more. And when something's more expensive, they stay away from it. So the balance is always off, and you always have to, it's not really a science, it's more of an art. And because of that, I don't like the risk. So what I tend to do is I try to make sure that before I offer solutions to problems, I secure the off-takers and I understand the level of importance my solution is going to provide. That way, it lets me be less focused on the B2C model and more on the B2B model. Now, everybody's business can obviously not follow this path. However, if you have the opportunity to choose between a B2B business and a B2C business in a developing country, you should always go towards the B2B because contracts will help you increase the valuation of your business. Our current business, Zippy Logistics, we're currently valued at close to about $20 million simply because we have had strategic partnerships with the likes of Tolerant Group. We have the likes of several international brands, Pernod Ricard, on our books. These relationships help strengthen our relationships with our partners and also with our banks, which brings me to my next point. You see, people always say that when you start a business, who's the best partner to have? In Nigeria, I think the best partner to have in Nigeria is your bank. And I say that because, you see, a bank is a non-intrusive partner in your business. If you know you have a steady business, that you know you have a steady source of income coming in, you should be able to work with the bank once you know you have a repayment plan. When you don't have a steady level of income coming in, that's when you should try and stay away from that model. We work with a bank called Providence Bank, for example. They're very good. They've been very good to us for a couple of years. And what they do is that they support small businesses in actually helping these businesses grow to the stages where they're supposed to grow. Now, the thing about Providence is what they do is that they make you understand that, look, not everybody's big today, but you will get there tomorrow. And they come up with not just the finance, but also the data you may need. They do the proper analysis. Now, when a bank is doing what they're supposed to do and helping you do the market research in your industry, it helps make sure that your investments make more sense. So if you're going to go into a business with someone, start with your bank. If your bank is a legitimate, serious bank that can actually help you with your feasibility studies, then that's the best partner you should approach for your business. Next business lesson is relationships. I always say it's based on how well, it's not about the best ideas, it's about the most liked ideas. And what I mean by that is you may not have the best ideas, but if you have a client that really likes you as a business, they will teach you what the best guys are doing to make you more efficient. And I say that I'll give you a very good example. When we started our business, we were in the e-commerce space. We used to work with Jumia, Konga, and Builday. We had the largest fleet of delivery bikes in Nigeria. I think we had close to about 200 bikes in about 6 to 7 cities. What we were doing is we were doing all their daily deliveries, all the packages, delivering about 4,000 to 5,000 packages a day. It was really good. But then we now decided to pivot into the supermarket industry, which is where we are now, fast-moving consumer goods. But we didn't know very much about it. So we approached some of the supermarket chains and some of our clients, and they said to us, look, Kabir, if you're going to do this, this is what our current partners are doing. They're very good. We like them. However, we know that because of your expertise and the relationships that you've given to us in the e-commerce industry, we know you can bring that same kind of energy to this industry. So they showed me the ropes and actually taught my clients actually taught me how to set up in this industry. So that's why it's important to have relationships, because it's not everything that you would know, because it takes a village. And the more support you have through relationships, the better your village grows. Next lesson I have is the power of social media. Now, I say this because we're in a new era, especially now because of COVID-19 and because of the pandemic and the different things that have caused restrictions around the world. We've now seen the importance of the internet and the importance of social media over the last 12 months. One of the biggest contracts we've ever got was with an oil and gas, one of the large oil and gas IOCs. They heard about us from our social media campaign. We had a social media campaign called I Spot Zippy, which literally means all of our 200 bikes, we're driving around town, and if you take a picture of one of our bikes and you tag yourself and post it on Instagram, you get to win a ticket to Paris, New York, or London. It was a very good campaign. Everybody loved it. People were participating. Then one of the business development managers in the IOC participated, brought it up in their Monday meeting and said, look, this new company doing this great stuff. Let's give them a call. Because of that, we got one of the largest contractors you'd ever imagine just by a social media campaign going viral. And that's why I keep saying, I never underestimate the power of social media and the power of the internet, because at the end of the day, we can't compete with the DHLs and the UPSs of this world. However, in our country, we should be able to use our local knowledge to be able to put our brands forward. So building your brand and building your brand identity will always help you stand out. And what I realize is it's better to be known for something than not to be known for anything at all. What I try to pride myself on is I am a supply chain professional, where everything I do is supply chain related. So even if people are having a conversation and think, oh, let's look at something supply chain, my name should come up. But if you hear that, oh, I'm in supply chain today, I'm in this tomorrow, I'm in that tomorrow, I will not always come up top of mind in conversation. So if possible, you should try and make sure that you keep all your ventures, all the business ideas you want to explore within an industry, so you become a champion of your industry and not a jack of all trades. And one more or less, another one I have here is human capital. So this is going to be a controversial one, but always hire young people. Like when I say always hire young people, it's like have a good balance between the young and the old people in your team. Because when I started my business, I think it was about 8 to 10 years ago, I had a policy where I said I was not going to hire anyone over the age of 30. I think then I was still about 24, 25 at the time. And the reason I said that was because, look, all these things are not rocket science. We can all figure it out together. If you have a bunch of young, innovative minds, invest in the youth. Let them know that, look, you believe in them. Give them opportunities that when they're talking to their competitors in DHL who are like 30 years above them, they have the confidence to know that, look, their innovation and their ideas can literally help them have their competitive advantage in the situation. It builds the confidence, and it also helps people understand that, look, the youth have a lot to offer, and we actually are the next generation. And if we don't start getting these opportunities at this young age to build our confidence, we will not be ready when it's our turn to run the country. So I strongly believe that if I ever have an opportunity to put a woman or a youth in a position of power, I always go for that first, because it's important for us to improve the gender balance and also the youth balance in the conversations of power and in different industries that we're in. So that's one of my main lessons that I wanted to put in. But I know that one's a tad bit controversial, because obviously the older generation also have the knowledge that we need to make some of these things function. But you know what? If you don't try, how will you learn? So just always giving them an opportunity to grow to the point where they can actually try to learn from the older generation and apply it with their own twist on it is always something I find. And the world is dynamic. It's always changing. COVID-19 has shown us that, look, our regular business models are not going to function as well anymore. Now we have to come up with more innovative ways to do business. And for that to take place, we need to make sure that we have more fresh thinking minds, fresher minds, and obviously people that are willing to adapt to whatever environment, did not a know-it-all. Look, I don't know it, I want to learn it. So when I'm recruiting, I don't even recruit people in my company that have logistics experience. No. All I want is the ability to be able to be a problem solver, think on your feet, and be able to, accept challenges as they come along. So I wanted to keep this a bit brief with all my lessons, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of comments about that. So over to you guys. Let me know what you think and how best you want to have this conversation.
Thank you, Kabir. What a refreshing presentation. I mean, I feel like I've learned so much, and I've been jotting down notes and really taking it all in. The questions, there's a couple of questions that have come in. So let's have a look at one. It says, Mr. Kabir, we manufacture, distribute treatment solutions for latrines, portable toilets and septic tanks. We would like to do business with wholesalers and mines in Nigeria. How can you direct us, please? So perhaps some tips.
Well, from what I understand, from what you just explained, I think those kind of industries, for example, you want to focus on the construction industries. And what I mean by that is when the developers are developing estates, developing mass housing, they will need bulk of your kind of business. So what I would advise for companies like that is you use your B2B contracts to get into the country, and then you now get into your B2C relationships by now start selling in shops. Because what you want to do is that your stores serve as a showroom to help the larger contractors understand that you're a point of contact. They'll be a partner in that kind of relationship. So what I would advise is for you to break into the market. Your barriers to entry would be quite large, but however, if you enter the situation where you can actually be the technical partner on a large project, that would be the best way to break into the country.
Excellent. Thank you. Sheila, I hope that helps. You're welcome to ask a follow-up question in the group if you want to. Another question from Kumbarai. He says, how can EU-based companies do business in Nigeria in the food and beverage industry? Any insights there on?
That's a very interesting question, because I was going to say it's the other way around. Like, because of the forex issues in Nigeria right now, we have literally where the euro is about, I think it's 440 to 1 naira. Your products will always be more expensive coming into competitors. So it depends on what kind of products you're into. If you're into luxury products, then you have a chance to do some business. But if you're into like fast-moving consumer goods, it'll be quite hard to remain competitive in the market with locally produced items. However, there's a huge opportunity to export Nigerian products to the EU for that. So what I would advise is the company should try and get Nigerian products onto their portfolio to actually sell in their EU markets where they're already established, as opposed to coming the other way around. Because there's a higher margin for you to make, but you're buying in naira and you're making euros.
Good. Interesting. There's another question also from an EU company, a German-based startup, that links African business and people to the German business ecosystem through B2B matchmaking and access to market. Looking to connect with different ecosystem players in Nigeria. There's not really a question there, but I think perhaps any insights on how businesses can link and connect with those different ecosystem players in Nigeria.
So there are actually quite a few. So the government does quite a few ecosystem links already. I think like the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, the NEPC, currently does. I know we have the Expo 2020 coming up in Dubai, where we're going with a couple of companies to expand. We were even meant to be at Gulf Food in Dubai as well. We're meant to have a stand, but because of the COVID-19 restrictions of flights, we weren't able to make it. I feel like there are opportunities for that. I know the Chamber of Commerce, the German Chamber of Commerce works very closely, and GIZ as well. A few German companies are currently working in Nigeria and doing quite good work. I think the ecosystem exists. It just needs for you to identify what market you're trying to target. And sometimes you find it easier to just create your own ecosystem based on what you're trying to offer and looking for a common problem amongst a bunch of companies where you're offering a solution to.
Good, excellent, thank you. I don't see any other questions in the discussion at the moment, so perhaps I can be selfish and ask a question for myself. You make the comment around the human capital and looking for young talent, and as you mentioned, that's quite a controversial statement to make. What does it look like for Zippy Logistics? What is your employee structure look like? How many of your guys are actually under 35?
So we have close to about 110 employees last time I checked. And out of the 110, we have, I think, 85 to 90% are under the age of 32. Under the age of 32.
Wow.
Yeah, I think everyone learns on the job, and very little to no one has logistics background and logistics experience, because I tend to make sure, because of the way we do business. So I'll tell you a bit more about what we do. So what we do is we run a consolidation network across the country. We're the go-to company for supermarkets to get their goods across. We own a distribution center. So the large brands like the Diageos and the Unilevers, what they do is they drop all of their modern trade stock off at our warehouse. Then we have a weekly schedule that covers all major supermarket outlets in the country on a weekly basis. So you don't have to worry about going to each store by yourself, just drop it all off in one place. Now, for us to do that, we have an intricate schedule with scheduled leaving on time. We have an advanced billing system, which was developed in MIT. How that works is like we bill you based on how much you move, cumulative tonnage of how much you move at the end of every month. So that way you don't have to worry about, and it's a fixed price across the country. So these systems are quite intricate and not the way business is normally done in Nigeria. We have a very, very unique model. And what we found is that when we first started, it was crazy. Nobody liked it. Everyone said it wasn't going to work. We were told all sorts of things, that this is not how the industry works. But what we've done is we've been able to change consumer behavior. We've been able to let people know that, look, we will not bend, we will not shake, we will stand our ground, because we believe in the future of our model. And our model now, 3 years later, we now have we move close to about 600,000 tons, 600,000 kg of FMCG goods on a monthly basis, talking about 30% of the major supermarkets across Nigeria. And we move about $1 million worth of invoices on a monthly basis. And all this was based on us sticking to our guns, because our competitors haven't been able to grow as fast as we have, simply because with our model, we have a membership model where our partners stay with us for a very long time. All our clients have been with us for a minimum of like a year and a half, 2 years, and we have long-standing relationships with them, because we believe the relationships is what build businesses, not the best quality of price or this and that. Just people need to believe that they have a relationship with their clients. So I have a whole department called for account managers, and it's very weird for a logistics company to have customer relation managers whose jobs is just to speak to clients and make them feel happy. And we pay a lot of money on that, because we believe the customer is king, and relationships is what keeps us alive.
Fantastic. I just to echo those sentiments, I read an article the other day and it said the old school of thinking is relationships are important. The new school of thinking is relationships is everything in business. It's just grown in importance. It's more important than price, service, all of that. It's if you've got fantastic relationship with your clients, you can overcome almost anything. And so agree with that. Great. Thank you so much, Kabir. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Kabir has generously made available a few extra minutes. So if anyone wants to have a one-on-one session or just have a quick chat with him, he's going to be in the lounge at table 43. So you click on the left, go to lounge and join table 43. Kabir will be there to join you. Please don't forget to go to the polls on the right-hand side to rate and to give some feedback on the session. And then lastly, with the final session of Breakaway 1 will be next. It's starting at 1:05. And if you want to join that, you need to exit the room and re-enter the next session in Breakaway 1. Thank you again, Kabir. Really appreciate it.